What's up, survivalists? Jason here. Today I'm going to show you my process of making a dump style pouch. Now this has been an idea for mine for quite a while, and it's something I wanted to do just by myself without really looking at other videos or other illustrations online on how to make a dump style pouch. I wanted it to all come from my head. Although I think I might have seen something like this before and just decided to make the design for myself. But this is going to be what I hope I can make into a dump style pouch. So a little illustration right here. It's just a simple little leather pouch and denim bag is what I'm really having to deal with. So this is going to be when it's all closed up, and just see the front of here, I have a little button, little snap button right there. You can see the sides are coming out. This is going to be the back of it with the belt loops. I think the belt loops I'm going to try to go for 2 inches wide, so it has enough room for other stuff, including my belt, and probably even trying to make it into some other MOLLE adaptable type of pieces of gear. So this is going to be when it's all opened up. This is going to be a good piece of leather that I have. It's pretty pliable, but I think it should be good enough right there. First, I'm going to be closing these flaps after I fold up the actual bag all the way up. I'm going to fold these 2 pieces inward, and then after those are all closed up, I'm going to close this one and then close the other one on top of it, and it's going to snap into the button that I have on the other side, and that's going to be a good little closure right there. And this is going to be when it's all opened up. This is going to be right there, the little bag. It's just a denim pant leg that I just happen to have, and it's just from an old pair of pants that I have, and I decided to make a bag out of it. So this is going to be the little opening right here, this like you can see right there, and I think this might be a little bit too big to actually roll into the piece I'm thinking about. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have to try to make the bag first and then make the actual little closure from leather. Because if I make this first and then find out that the bag is too big for this, it's just going to be a waste. So I'm going to make the bag first and then go for the leather little closure. So let's go inside and get this done. Alright, I got a good enough little cut line right here because I definitely don't want this little frayed in. It's just really jagged area right there, and you don't want that for sewing in. And plus I wanted to get rid of this spot right here because you do not want that for a part of the bag, because that could definitely rip or even fray more and just make the bag useless. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this part off. Alright, so got that part off. I could definitely use this piece for just chalk cloth, so I'll just throw that into the chalk cloth pile. So this is the bottom of the bag. It's a little bit off center in some areas. I may just kind of clean it up a bit, but that is the main piece right there. So what I'm thinking about is I'm definitely gonna have to turn this inside out. And then I'm going to sew this portion right here. It's just going to be a single line, maybe even try to do a double. And then I'm going to try to make a little squared off little bottom piece. So I looked online and saw a way to do it is just to measure out a corner, probably at least an inch wide, and just have like a kind of like a triangle, and just sew a triangle into the corner and each corner. And then when it's all sewn and all done right there, you have to turn it back out, and it should be a perfectly boxed type of bag. So hopefully I could actually do that. So let's get that done. Alright, I got these all sewn up in the corner right there. See that? And I haven't checked it yet, but I'm going to check it right now. Drum roll, please. Oh, wait a minute. think I might have missed a step. Alright, I took my knife and just kind of cut out each little loop that was inside of the corner stitchings and just like kind of opened it up to remove all the string inside. I looked it up and what had happened was I missed a few steps, and I should have looked it up before because I may have just messed it up a little bit, had to kind of redo it a little bit, but I think I might know a way how to get around that. Originally, even before just kind of sewing the bottom, you want to cut out a little square on each corner, probably at least probably an 1.5 inch size type of square, and then you would sew right there where it kind of ends, because the anchor point is going to be right there instead of right here. And my anchor point is already right there, so if I do that, I have to redo this whole thing right there because it's most likely going to unravel. But I think I could get around it because the next step is to open up the material like this, make it into like some type of triangle. So I think this is where I kind of mixed up the little step, is to make the triangle kind of lengthways instead of that way. So you just make your little stitch line right there, and I'm gonna try to make the best of it, like just the best measurement I could possibly do right there, because there isn't really a good stopping point to actually try to make a good little triangle, but I'm gonna do my best. But once you do that, you just sew that up, and hopefully that'll be a good little stopping point to make a good squared off bottom for a bag. So let me do that and I'll get right back in. After making some measurements, I believe I got this figured out, because after making some perfect little squares, a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch is like a perfect little axis when you open up the material to make an awesome little sewing line right there. It's like made for each side, and when you pull it out, it makes an excellent little thing right there. So I believe just going off of right there, it should be an awesome little line right there, and it should be really square. So I'm gonna sew this up and then show you the end result. Finally, I believe I got this bag finished, and I haven't looked at it yet, but hopefully I have the correct type of stitching type of levelness, so it isn't really like a wonky looking square or box bottom. But here we go. I'm going to turn it right side out. Fingers crossed. And yes, look at that. Look at that. It is a boxed bottom bag. And the reason why I wanted a box bottom bag is because it keeps it all open, especially on the bottom. If you would have had just like a really flat bag, it would be kind of hard to put stuff in. And when it's open like this, you can definitely see that it stays open. Look at that. That's a work of art. Alright, now I got to get to the leather part of this bag. So what I was thinking for folding this is just kind of having it that way, having the box part of it kind of down this way. Just kind of bring it up like this, fold it in the other side, and then that's how I would probably fold up the ends right there. So let me bring up the leather. Alright, here is the leather, and I ended up making a little paper cutout. Doing it this way, it really makes it accurate, because if you're just going blind, something like this, and just trying to make your edges may end up a little bit crooked, and you do not want a crooked flap, because it'll look a little bit weird. And plus, it won't really line up correctly with the other flap and stuff like that, and it'll look just a mess. Luckily, the side of this piece of leather is actually pretty straight. So this gives me a nice little starting point to put all of this paper next to, and then trace it up with the leather marker. And then I'm going to take this off, just kind of use the ruler, just kind of dig it in to make sure I actually can see it. And then I'm going to cut it out and see where it goes from there. now I've got this cut and folded in, I could definitely tell that this is going to be an awesome project. And right here, it just opens up really well. Once you flip that open, that just springs open. And I believe once it's on the belt, it was just most likely just going to fly down like that. Just like butter almost. And then once you get there, just open that up a little bit. And when it's hanging, it should be open like that. So the next order of business is to attach the denim bag to the leather. Well, it's the next day, and I actually ended up staying up till probably like 2 o'clock in the morning last night, and I just kind of lost track of time and just got really busy making this project. So I think last time when we talked about it was the trying to get the pieces all cut together to sew it onto the bag, which would attach to the actual folding part of the leather. So I ended up making a little pad right there, and just sewing through the bag right there, and then just a simple little design. I just have a box right there, and then have another box around there, which I'm going to sew onto the side right here with this piece of card in the middle to give it a little more sturdy type of look. And then also I changed up the design a little bit for the belt loop. Not only can I put my belt through here, I could also run a molly type of design through this way. I wanted it as a molly type of adaptable type of dump style pouch, but then I realized how I'm going to do it with just the strips. Then I realized I could do it in this type of configuration. It's just a simple little square inside of a square, and then it's just goes from there. And I think it should be wide enough. I think it is wide enough to weave something through that, and then attach it to a pack or something like that. But definitely, that's gonna be quite the kind of experiment right there, and just hopefully it does it. And I think the last parts of this is just sewing these pieces together. I actually have to make some holes along this. I wish I had like a leather awl or something like that, something really good, or maybe even a little fork thing to make it really easy to punch through, but I don't have one of those tools, so I'll probably have to resort to this. And probably, I think, since I already made the holes on this, I'm going to have to mark it with a pen, and then just make the little circles to see exactly where the holes are so I don't mess up from there. But I think after that, and then it's just the basic snap that I have to do after that, and I think that would be a done project from right there. If you're wondering, the stitch that I'm using is the saddle stitch. It's just a simple little stitch that you have two different ends, and then just pull the string through, and then just has it on both sides. Now this is where I slip in the little piece of card. There we go. Now to finish this last side. So we got this whole thing just all sewn on there, and I have the little paperboard in there, and it gives it a lot actually of just sturdiness. And after going one round, I actually went about probably a quarter way to actually kind of finish off the top right there, because I had the extra line right here. So that gives it a lot more just strength as well, just a lot on the top, which is probably where this is going to need it, especially if something's heavy in it or something, and then it's going to be pulling down a lot, and hopefully that will definitely keep it all right there. The final part of this project is to get a little snap fastener onto there, and I'm thinking probably just going with the brass one on there. And I had to measure this out. This is 3.5 inches, and I just had the exact middle, which is about 1.75 inches, and then just made the little dot for that. But I have to somehow just try to go underneath that and to do that way. But instead of doing it that way, I think I could possibly just try to stick this needle through there, and then it should mark where it is on the other side. Alright, for the moment of truth. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect spot. And actually snaps in, rolls out. That is awesome. Let me put this on the belt. So here is the pouch on the belt, and it fits pretty much perfectly. It doesn't really get in the way. I can still do a lot of the stuff. I can still get to my knife and stuff like that. So let's open this up. Oh, look at that, just perfect. And I can put this flap down inside of the bag, and it'll be fine and dandy right there. So here's a detailed look of what the pouch actually looks like. So here is the front. I really like what the front look kind of looks like. It's kind of like a traditional type of pouch almost, and definitely looks like it'll belongs out in woods. So you can definitely see right there. The sides are really nice. It just covers what is inside, so it just looks like an actual pouch instead of just like the flaps and all that. So here is the back. I really like the look of the back on this. Just pretty clean on there for the stitching, and it's just really nice little stitching right there, especially for the double part of it right there, just to give it a little bit more reinforcement. Then I have the belt loop and molly type of configuration. I may have to clean it up a little bit around here because it's a little bit frayed or something like that, but I don't know, I might even keep it like something like that. But once you open it up, this falls right out. It just, that really amazing that it actually just comes undone all by itself, and it's just right there. I really like the look of the bag when it all comes out. You can definitely just kind of fill it up with a whole bunch of stuff. I'm thinking more for just like kind of like a foraging for possibly just some wild edibles. Maybe even try to have this for gathering fat wood. Could definitely use this for gathering a lot of fat wood. I don't know how much weight this could actually take before the actual line snaps or anything like that, or a stitching gives out or something like that. But I could definitely tell that this is going to be an awesome dump style pouch. So here what it looks like on the back, like that, when it's all opened up. That looks really nice. So give me what you think about this dump style pouch. I actually think it is a success, and I think it might be one of my better creations of leather craft and other kind of craftsmanship, I guess you could kind of say, with other sewing stuff. This is like my first successful sewing job, you could kind of say, especially for doing something kind of unique with a boxed off bottom, which is really nice for this type of pouch. And I think this could definitely be an awesome thing to take out in the woods. So there is a process of making my dump style pouch. I hope you liked it. I want to thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.